Alright, devlog for October 2024, take 2, because I got a really long and windy devlog and I have to just re-record into something way shorter. So, more positive devlog this time because last devlog was kind of negative. I did a lot more work this month than previous month, probably more than like the 2 previous months combined. So, main thing is that level 5 is now basically done, minus the boss fight. Boss fight still needs to be done. I fixed a whole lot of small minor issues that had over on my long time list. I fixed like 3 really frustrating crashes that took a while to finish. I'm not gonna go into them because I went into them on the first take and it took way too long and it's just not interesting. So basically short fire things is that I had an issue where the hit registration didn't work. The issue is that the hit register, when I shoot a fast projectile, it shoots a hit scan ray. So when something is close, it's basically using hit scan, but when something is far away, it uses projectiles. There was a gap between the hit scan and the projectile part of the projectile, basically, and within that gap, hits were not registered. So I fixed that gap, and now it works fine. So I thought it was a really complex issue. I was very scared that it might take a very Maybe it was a very complex issue, was very basic, eventually fixed. Very quickly, very good. Second issue was an issue with the crashes. So I got a very weird random render error crash that took 2 hours to figure out, and I finally figured it out. It was in game interface, SK game interface. There it is. So it's, I think, at the bottom here. So this was not commented out. The corpse manager is so this was code that I added the previous month, the month before October. What this does is that I used to have to, these are managers and these basically manage specific things. These objects have to be in the level, otherwise certain things won't work. The issue is Bound Corpse Manager has a render error crash. What Corpse Manager does is it looks at dead entities and then tries to replace them with a static mesh, but that's doesn't work. This is actually really old code, like Bound Corpse Manager was something I made that probably 2 years ago. Couldn't get it to work because I got a weird rendering error crash and then decided to not work on it ever since. But I forgot to disable it when I made this code, so it was causing the render error crash. The reason how I figured this finally out is because I had to get the debugger, and with the debugger I found it. So yeah. Another bug that I'm not gonna go delve deep into is I had a crash in like setting visibility of a component, and I couldn't figure out why it was crashing because the stack trace didn't make any sense. For some reason, for that crash, the stack trace just was pointing to the wrong functions. I finally figured it out. There was like a set visibility where I didn't check if there was the object where I was setting the visibility was actually not a null pointer. So now I checked for a null pointer and now it's fixed. So yeah, that did waste me 4 hours of my first weekend that I got to work on it this month, but hey, better late than never. So, what else I've been doing? So, long-awaited thing, tail physics. So, a lot of the entities now have proper tail physics. This doesn't look too good, but that's mostly because it just doesn't look too good in the previewer. When this Resorian is actually moving in the level, the tail looks fine. I can probably show it. I actually don't know who do I have in my spawner. Oh yeah, I can also toggle God mode. So I have toggle God modes because I've actually lost, and I've also toggled Cena to make myself invisible to enemies. Okay, good. We have a Resorian. So yeah. You can see his tail moving, which is great. I probably want to make it a bit more rigid. I think it's a bit too floaty, but hey, it's easy to tweak, so not an issue. And yeah, here you see God mode. He can't damage me. Very nice. So Minotaur also has tail physics, and same goes for the Fury. I think the Imp as well. Imp also has tail physics. Actually, I'm not going to show them all. Actually, did he? Yeah, he does have tail physics. Nice. So yeah, that was also a very easy thing to do. Like adding these rigid body physics was just like an hour of work. I should have really done this way earlier. But hey, better late than never. So for the boss, I'm going to reuse the Fury skeleton. I didn't like the hands of the Fury, so the Fury now has human hands. The Fury used to have these crazy claw hands. I can show it because I can just go to the... I can just go to the Fury. Right here. So, these used to be... I mean, there still are, because I've not yet changed them, but... Here are the old Fury claws, and... I'm gonna replace them with human hands. Maybe I make the nails a bit more longer, more creature-like. Maybe they're now a bit too much human, but either way, it will be improvement. So the reason why I'm doing this is just to have, so I can have more fine animations in the hands, because I want to have some more fine, again, more fine animations with the weapons the Fury boss is going to use. So yeah, I will be making, probably tomorrow, I will be starting with making a custom outfit for her, and then I also started working on the code. I mean, I don't really have to make new code for the Fury boss because I can pretty much reuse most of the attack logic. The one attack logic that I still have to finish is charge attack. So there will be a new attack type for the Fury boss, and that's a charge attack. So yeah, we'll be working on that. Anything else? I don't know. Yeah, so I also fixed one major issue with the AI, specifically the melee enemy AI, so toggle god mode. So I now have made a new piece of code that hopefully prevents the enemy from basically staggering, okay, I can't think. Hold on. I'm gonna reload it. So what the enemy sometimes does is the enemy shakes in place. That's what I'm trying to think. So sometimes the enemy just shakes in place. It actually just happened there, but that was a different issue. So the enemy would just shake in place, like right in front of you. And what would be happening is the AI would get two conflicting movement options. Like it could move to the left, could move to the right, and then it would just shake in place. So when the AI I now have a detection module that detects when this is happening, and when this happens, it should just pick one and then just delay the next movement call, and that should hopefully fix it. The AI was shaking here as well, but that has to do with so the AI really does not like, actually I can't show it because I have to exit the editor again. The AI really dislikes these types of oh my god, these types of navigation. So there's a really weird navigation mesh here, and that causes him to shake, but on just flat ground, it should work fine. But yeah. Oh, there you saw it a little bit. I think my code was actually working there, because he was not like standing still in place. He was shaking a little, but he didn't stop. He still kept moving towards me. So I think that was my code working. So. And you can just see this tail. Like it's a little thing, but it adds a lot. So yeah, and that's pretty much all I'm gonna say, because I want to keep these as short as possible. Looking good, so hopefully next month Fury boss is done, which means that the entire level 5 is in alpha and I can move on to level 6. If I am really quick somehow, I might be able to get close to level 7 by the end of the year, which would be really good. Because my original thoughts earlier this year was that I would get to level 7.5 at the end of the year, because that will mean halfway through the game. The game is going to have 15 levels, so if I got to level 7.5, I would basically be 50% of the way there in terms of levels. Don't think I'm gonna make that, but if I could even get to 6.5, I will be really happy. So yeah, that's it. I'm working a lot on the game more. I had a lot of distractions with the music. I'm not gonna talk more about it. Like, see you guys next time.